My name is Julie, as I've already mentioned, and I am the head nutrition and wellness coach at Strength and Honor. Michelle, do you want to jump in quickly, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about Imagine Flow, or do you want to weave it in as we go?
Yeah, I'll weed it in as we go.
Sounds good. So before we dive in, I want to tell you a little bit more about myself, and also share some pretty cool success stories. So I'm a mom of two teenage boys. I live with them, my husband, my father, and our dog. Um, my partner, Steve Kanopka, is the owner and head coach at Strength and Honor Training. So we work with youth and professional athletes through driven adults who are ready, willing, and able to change their lives. So I can tell you till I'm blue in the face how wonderful it is, but instead I'm going to share a couple of stories real quick. And then, Kate, I'll get you prepared to maybe give a little bit of your story and successes so far, if you're comfortable sharing. So, Sheree is a mom of two toddlers. She works full time. She totally put her health to the side when she became pregnant. Now, when I met Sheree, she was eating out 2 to 3 times a day, every single day of the week. That is a lot of eating out. She was drinking Kool-Aid and juice. Those were her primary beverages in 6 weeks. So Sheree was part of our 6 week DIY program. Sheree went from eating out that many times to looking forward to cooking at home. And we worked together to get her into a fitness routine that fit with her hectic schedule. And now she's only drinking water and totally enjoying it. She doesn't feel like she's missing out on anything. So small changes over the course of time, huge impact. So another one I want to share with you is Clay. So Clay was struggling with motivation, staying consistent, and he was on this yo-yo diet cycle where he would go in, dive in, do amazing, kind of finish what he thought was his goal, resume quote normal life, and then he'd gain the weight back and find himself in the same problem. So after like kind of hitting those goals and falling off, he realized he needed to do something. And he went to his doctor, and his doctor was like, "Hey, you got to talk to Julie. She's all about habits and making lifestyle changes. She's going to help you lose the weight, but also keep it off." So together we built what Clay's normal is. So he's able to celebrate in his sugar fest, as he calls it, at Christmas time and get back on track. He's able to go to a grocery store and not nibble and snack on the way home. So we focused on moving away from that feeling of restriction and really what he can do. Not so much the scale, but what else was working for him to feel more energized, motivated, and healthier. The last person I'll share with you is Jamie. So, Jamie is a corporate exec. She has a super, super high profile job. She also has children and a husband. She is constantly putting out fire drills at home, at work, you name it, something is on fire. So we work together to put together a very thoughtful plan in an environment that supports her. She's stuck at a desk. So in something that I could relate to when I was in the corporate world, but now that I'm not, like I can relate and I understood we needed to have it prepared for her and easily accessible. So there are days when she is in back to back to back to back meetings. We packed the lunchbox as though she was leaving for work or in a car all day driving around. So we were able to create a system that worked for her in that environment. We built breaks into her day, and we're working on taking the stress and pressure off of her in areas where we can. So my husband is a retired state police officer. So his schedule was among the craziest you can imagine. Day shift, evening shift, midnight shift, multiple shifts. Being able to adapt and still keep him healthy and provide him with food and nourishment, even when he's on the go and working those crazy jobs, is something that's super important to me as well. So I like the lifestyle approach because not everybody's the same. We don't all deal with the same ins and outs. So I heard you mention, I think that you're a welder. Is that right? You
Yes.
can, yeah. So what is your typical day like?
Well, I'm retired, but Ryan can explain what his day is like.
Sure.
Well, so get in for 7 o'clock, and then it's a mixture of desk work or going out onto the production floor to look into problems, work through solutions, do development, those kind of things, and then that happens until about 5 o'clock. So that's very quickly what the day looks like.
And so pretty much nonstop, I take it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kate, do you want to jump? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's okay. Yeah, so the other thing is too is it is a family business, and often Brian works 6 days a week, and actually more often than not 7 days a week. And so that's one of the hurdles that he's trying to overcome. Is we actually went down to Miami, to the Pritikin Health and Longevity Center. Spent a couple of weeks there. We came back, and now that's exactly right. What you're going through and what your people are going through, Julie, is how do you incorporate that lifestyle into everyday use with function and food preparation, and when to eat, how to eat, what to eat, how do you balance that with your lifestyle, and et cetera. And I'm not, it's not easy.
I always like to say it's simple, not easy, which is where accountability and coaching comes into play. So, Kate, I don't know if you want to kind of pick up on if you got everything. I know you stepped away for a second.
Yeah.
But talking about like being able to build for you around your life. So Kate's a teacher. And so lots of struggles within there that we have worked around, but I don't want to speak for you. Do you want to kind of chime in and tell Roy and Ryan sort of what we've done in that sense to bring your life into a healthier way of living?
I'm still thinking about whether it's easy. It does feel easy. It feels like, some meal prep on the weekends and carving out the time to go to the gym. It's time that you deserve, and it feels like it's just a matter of taking it. Because I think before I started, I would have said the same thing, that I couldn't possibly leave school, on time or early to get to the gym, but I do, and it doesn't feel difficult. I'm like a much more active person, and I think I've lost like 35 pounds and have a lot to go, but I'm a happier person, much happier.
Yeah, I mean, I see a difference. Thank you for sharing. And remember, we didn't start right away with meal prepping. We started with getting like
Yeah.
veggies in your diet, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you start
yeah.
small and you start where you are. So Roy and Ryan, you guys could look very different as retired and full-time working. You can't have the same plan
Yeah.
necessarily because you're not doing the same things, and it might not look like Kate's plan either.
Right.
So we'll go into more of that. I want to make sure we hit on all the tips. But was that helpful just to kind of like set the framework and how we approach things?
Yeah, preparation is everything. Preparation and planning, yes, absolutely.
Yep. And making the right plan. So
Yes.
at SNH, we believe in coaching through a holistic framework. So as Kate just said, she's a happier person. She has lost a tremendous amount of weight. She has gained so much mobility and energy to keep going, right?
Yeah.
So we have to look at everything, especially working 6-7 days a week. How's your sleep? How's your stress? How's your social environment? That we're going to talk about that one today because that's part of summer. That would be your lifestyle. Your environment is what drives your success. Physical, social, environmental. We spend a lot of time thinking about that and how it all comes together. We also partner with people like Michelle at Imagine Float because our bodies need time to rest and to recover. And Michelle is phenomenal in the same way I sit down in a very individualized way. Michelle does that with your health and wellness, right? Like what of her services are going to work for you where you're at today, right? I came in, I had a shoulder flare up. We thought we were jumping into cryo. We didn't jump into cryo. Instead, we did spot cryo and a sauna treatment, right? So that adaptability and being able to know what your body needs and lean into experts like me or Michelle to help you get there is really the key to living this holistic health that we talk about. Okay, so that was a lot of background, getting to know kind of approaches. Let's talk summer, okay? I don't actually know this many people. This is actually the team of amazing dietitians and coaches at Healthy Steps Nutrition. So Healthy Steps Nutrition is the foundation of our nutrition program. I am a certified HSN coach. All of my education comes through this team. Our mobile app is powered by the team, and then I create programs that align with each of our clients and the journey that they're on. So warmer weather is definitely upon us. We know that there's opportunities for lots of activities, vacations, long days, going outside, fireplace chats, all the good stuff, which typically leads to more food and beverages. So I don't know if you read this when the invite went out, but there is a study that found that children eat 5 times more sugar over summer break than they normally do. So a survey of like 1,000 parents with children under the age 17 found that this increase is drastic and not surprising, comes from ice cream, sugar sweetened beverages. Those are definitely on the top of the list. And unfortunately, the flip side of that is only 1 in 10 actually maintained any level of eating vegetables. So Kate knows I love vegetables. Veggie buckets are a thing for everybody. So that statistic is super sad and alarming. But it doesn't just stop there. On average, over vacation, an adult will gain about a pound per week. Doesn't have to be that way. Doesn't have to be that way even if you're not going on vacation. So how does it happen, right? So there's evidence that adults and children typically tend to sleep less in the summer. You might be saying like, wait, why are we starting with sleep? Well, when our sleep is impacted, it actually impacts energy levels. So contrary to popular belief, oftentimes physical activity goes down. We're not as well rested. So our hormones are kicking in because they're like, you're hungry, we need energy. So you tend to eat more to try to bring that energy level up. So lack of sleep, eating more, perfect storm. Oh, sorry, Michelle, no pun intended, for waking. So if you've been working on your health, like you guys just went and totally dedicated yourselves. Amazing. That immersion must have been wonderful. And I'd love to hear about it. Kate, you've been investing in yourself. We don't want to move backwards. For anybody watching the replay who maybe hasn't taken that step forward, you want to avoid becoming a statistic. So you're all in the right place. Or if you're watching the replay, now you're in the right place. So we are going to dive into the healthy tips for a healthy summer. We ready to roll?
Yes.
Okay, so there were workbooks. I'm not sure if anybody had a chance to print them out, but I can't share my screen and share the workbook, but it was emailed, so you guys can print it out after and kind of go back in and fill in some of the notes, and I'll provide you with a summary to help make that easier as well.
Okay.
There's copies here in Heartland, but it's a bit far of a drive.
Yes.
All right. So we want to move more and sit less. And whether that's sitting at a desk, sitting in a car, sitting in your house, we want to get up and move. So a lot, like I said, people think that, oh, warmer weather, we're going to move more. Well, a study that was published in the Journal of Sport and Health Science looked at the impact of weather on our physical activity, and of about 500-ish participants, over half said they would delay or put off their physical fitness in the summer due to weather conditions. So Warm weather does encourage it, but those really hot days, those humid days, is it going to rain? Is it not going to rain? Those all have the opposite effect. And we do want to be careful, obviously. The American College of American College of Sports Medicine recommends canceling outdoor activity if it's above 90 degrees for those who are active on a regular basis. And for those who are not active, like 86 to 82 degrees, you kind of want to wave the red flag and be like, ooh, hold up, I need to be concerned, right? So now I'm telling you, you have to move more, but hey, there's rules. Don't worry. We've got options that can help keep you active even if the temperatures do spike. So first, why physical activity? So this isn't just a summertime thing. This is year round. Physical activity has so many benefits. Reduces your stress, helps you sleep better, increases your confidence, and it helps with weight management. So year round, we want to aim to be active at least 3 to 5 times per week. And there are lots of ways that we can tackle this. So most importantly, you have to enjoy it. So if I say, hey, Ryan, go hit up a Zumba class, what are my chances of getting you there? Just throwing it out there. Right? Find something you enjoy. Is it high intensity? Is it strength training, running, biking, yoga, strength training? There's a million different ways, right? Like go be a kid and hit a trampoline park. Have fun with your body movement. It should feel like something that excites you, even though it's hard to sometimes get there. Once you are there, Kate, what do I always say? I never feel shitty after I leave a workout, right? So get up, get moving. So there truly is something for everybody. And when we talk, like Kate was saying about, kind of figuring out where things fit into your day, when we layer them onto something we're already doing, it becomes easier. So for example, how many people eat dinner every night? Raise your hand. Okay. So go take a 15-minute walk after dinner. Reduces your A1C level, helps your body go into a catabolic state overnight, right? Huge benefits. Can't do 15 minutes, do 10. Can't do 10, do 5. Anything is better than nothing. And it's a simple way to start. If you're like, okay, Joel, these are great options, but I want something that's actually designed for me and for my goals, that's where an SNH coach can help you create that plan, just like we did for Kate. So talking about those temperatures, knowing when to go outside, when not to go outside, obviously we want to keep cool in extreme heat. So it doesn't only stop us from hitting our workouts, but it can be very, very dangerous, especially those with chronic conditions. The CDC says that hospitals see an increase in admission due to heat-related illness, as well as cardiovascular and respiratory disorders over the summer more than any other time of year. So this is why keeping our cool is really healthy. So obvious ways: fans, wet towels, find some air conditioning. I love, and I'm gonna give you a couple hints on how to stay hydrated on the next slide, but even popping like grapes into the freezer. Don't choke on them. They are a choking hazard, but I'll sit here with frozen grapes over the summer because the sun beats in my office and I'll just munch on those. That cold temperature of the grape helps to keep the body temperature down as well. So does hydration. And hydration is key, again, year round, but especially now in the summer. So we're going to deplete more of our sweat, electrolytes, because we're moving, we're sweating just inherently from the warmer weather. So a couple great ways that you can increase your water intake: a water bottle. I never leave home without it. There's one in my purse. There's 2 at my desk currently. Always have it on you. As you saw before, I took a sip. I always have a straw. You will drink more if you have a straw. You can flavor it with fruits and veggies. So even if you take some of those frozen grapes or put other things that you like, any of the combinations that I have over here on the slide, and dump those in, and set a goal. And if you can't hold yourself accountable, find a friend, be like, hey, I'm trying to drink this much water. I'm going to report it to you. find a nutrition coach that tells you how much water you should be drinking, right? And if you're one of those people who's like, ugh, I just don't like water. Okay, we can try putting the fruit in it. You still don't like water? No worries. Let's talk about some herbal teas or some healthy electrolytes, right? So the Gatorades of the world, other than G-Fit, you're going to want to steer clear of them. They're loaded with sugars and dyes that are going to be counteractive to all of the health benefits. But believe it or not, there are other hydration methods out there. Something as simple as salt water and lemon. Great combination. So, Kate, I know that this was something that we worked on for quite a bit of time. Do you have any thoughts, comments you want to share on hydration?
Did you just say salt, water, and lemon?
I did.
Ugh. No, I don't
tell us
know.
what you like.
I just drink plain water and I keep track of it on my Fitbit. And yeah, it's very important, the water thing, right?
That was something we focused on a lot, though, those first few weeks where it was a daily habit for you. And we layered it into like different periods
Yes.
of your day because Kate can't run and go to the bathroom with a class full of kids. So we found spots in her day where she had to check a box in the app that
Yeah,
said, I did
yeah.
it. I did it. I
I'd
didn't do
forgotten
it.
that.
Yeah, I remember.
You forget how it started like that, like so small and then adding on to it.
Yep. Always measure backwards. Another great choice is coconut water. You just want to make sure it's pure, that there's nothing added to it, no sugars, no dyes. Costco sells them in the little tiny boxes. I love those as well. So, any questions on hydration?
Julie, do you have any recommendations for electrolytes? Because what I found is I do all my workouts in the morning, and my blood pressure falls quite a bit. Sometimes to the point where I get dizzy. It falls down and around like 100/50, and sometimes even less. And
Okay.
so what I do is I drink. I just do a 12-ounce Gatorade. But now what I do is I use the Gatorade before I work out, and now my blood pressure doesn't go so low that I get nauseous and dizzy. What else do you have for a recommendation for electrolytes outside of Gatorade?
Yep.
If any.
So I do, and that's a great question. So there is something that Gatorade makes called G-Fit. It is, I don't have one right next to me or I would show it to you. It is a healthier version of Gatorade. Body Armor Light is going to be a little bit higher in sugar, but the light version is acceptable. If you can take salt, A, like as long as you're healthy enough to take it, and B, you don't mind the taste of it, there's something called Element, LMNT.
Yeah,
and I have samples.
Oh,
I
can't.
Okay.
No.
You can't do the salt. Okay.
No.
There's a couple other brands out there. First Form makes a hydration product that I can send you the link to, as well as over-the-counter things like Ultima or Noon, N-U-U-N. They're those little tablets. But obviously with all of those, just make sure that the sodium content is safe for you. Or ask your doctor or physician.
Got it.
And I can read, like, if you didn't get all of them, I can totally include it in the follow-up.
Well, it sounds like the G-Fit may be for me personally, that may be the better option because it's just a less sugar, less sodium drink by Gatorade.
I'm not sure how the sodium content compares. I'd have to look label for label, but ingredient-wise, it's much cleaner than a traditional Gatorade.
And okay, and you can find G-Fit just by looking up G-Fit, or is it under Gatorade? And then you find G-Fit.
If you do Gatorade G-Fit, it'll come up. Big Y has it. I know where it is at Big Y. I don't know where it is at the other stores, but you can get it on Amazon as well.
Okay. I'll have to read the ingredients. Okay.
Cool. So moving on to tip number 3, eating a balanced diet. You're going to find this in probably every single nutrition talk I ever give, because this is the goal. We want to eat a balanced diet full of whole foods, things that come from the earth, move away from the packaged goods. So we talked about how like there's the ongoing cycle of unsustainable diets, or going through a great program and then going, okay, now what? How do I live my life? So the hardest part of those diets or going through a program is building those sustainable habits so that it can be repeated time after time after time for a lifetime. So when you think about that, like kind of as a catalyst, I like to imagine, like, close your eyes. We're kind of in summer, even though the winter doesn't really feel like, or the weather doesn't feel like it yet, but you're thinking about swimsuit season, or, wanting to stay fit and look good when you're walking outside. And all of a sudden you get this spring of inspiration and you're like, ooh, I just want to lose it, and I want to lose it fast. That's sometimes when we default to those diets. What I would instead encourage you to do is say, yes, I want to lose weight and get healthier. How can I do that so it lasts for longer than that 1 week vacation or that wedding that I'm going to? So, plate method. This is a very simple approach that you can take everywhere with you. So what we want to focus on is a half a plate of non-starchy veggies. We really want to load up on those vegetables. Quarter plate of protein and a quarter plate of a really good carbohydrate. So a sweet potato, rice, beans. Don't be afraid of those things. What I love about the plate method is you can visualize it no matter where you are. And then we can layer on our hands. So there's no weighing, there's no measuring required. When we think about that half a plate of vegetables, that's going to be the length from our wrist to our fingertips. Thinking about the protein, that's the palm of our hand. Thinking of the carb, it's half. So whether you're at a barbecue, a wedding, or sitting at your own house, you can picture a plate and you have your hands with you. Keep it on the whole food spectrum. Any questions on that very quick view of what a healthy plate looks like?
No, I agree.
Okay, cool. So rethinking your drinks. This is not just alcohol, but it's also, like we were just talking about, sugar content. So something to be aware of is that sugar can appear in hundreds of words. Anything ending in OSE, allulose, fructose, right? Corn syrup, sugar. There's a million names for them. And sugar is absolutely correlated with weight gain, but also inflammation, which is going to affect how your body and how your mind feels. So some mind-blowing statistics for you. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons a day for women and 9 for men. So I'm going to give you the rundown on some pretty common drinks and what's in those. So a normal glass of lemonade has 6¼ teaspoons of sugar. A Coke, 10¼ teaspoons of sugar. A Frap from Starbucks, generally speaking, 20 teaspoons of sugar.
Yes.
Right? That's crazy. Now think about things like your yogurt. If you eat yogurt, yogurt's great when it's not loaded with sugar. So if you are a yogurt eater, I encourage you to go look at your label. And if you're like, ooh, this does not sound like it would be Julie approved, send it to me. I'll look at it and I'll make some recommendations for you, just depending upon your preferences. So more about drinks. If you do drink and you want to have an alcoholic beverage, no problem. We talk about health as like a health savings account. So we're making deposits every single day into your health account. If you choose to make a withdrawal and have a drink, no problem. But be mindful of what you're drinking. Those heavier beers, the mixers in drinks are going to drive that sugar content, right? So the problem, aside from the sugar consumption, is that when we do drink alcohol, our body will prioritize metabolizing the alcohol before the food. So what happens? Your body attacks the alcohol to get it out of your body. And then it's like, oh, your food's still here. I'm going to store it because now we need energy. I got rid of stuff. Now I have to hold on to this because your body is going to need energy. So it prioritizes the alcohol, holding on to the food, hence why you gain weight when you drink. So choose wisely, drink water in between, and also be aware that when you drink, we tend to then crave those higher calorie foods, fried foods, French fries, chicken fingers, big old burgers. So just beware that when you do drink, the outcome is also most likely going to be not the best nutrition, because your body's going to be craving it. All right. So we talked about this a tiny bit, going in a little bit more to finding an accountability partner. So at SNH, like I said, we talk about more than just fitness and nutrition. It is about your lifestyle, and this includes the people that you spend your time with. So we're the sum of the 5 people we hang out with most. So think for a second, who are your people? Do they eat well? Do they exercise? Do they want to sit at home and have popcorn and drink beers, or go out to dinner and hit a bar? So a recent study shown that even with the best of intentions, only 53% of people's action or intention turn to action. Half of our population that has intention, so who knows what the subsection of that even looks like, only half of them turn their intention into action. So lack of structure, routine, the lower amounts of sleep, there's a list of barriers that can keep coming up. So an accountability partner to go on a hike or a walk with, or someone to say, hey, I drank my water today. Awesome. But if you're looking for structure and planning and how to make it work for your lifestyle, layer in a nutrition coach as well, this nutrition coach, because we're going to come up with that plan. So as you can see next to these lovely hikers, there's a little outline of creating a linear path to success. So why is this important? There is a study that took 3 groups of people. Group 1 was told, hey, you got to exercise. They're like, okay. They went and did it. Group 2 was like, hey, you have to exercise because it will reduce the risk of heart disease. Okay. Group 3, you have to exercise because it will reduce the risk of heart disease. And here's a very clearly laid out plan on how you're going to do it. The success rates of groups 1 and 2, barely different, 38 and 35% respectively. Group 3, that had the intention, the motivation, and the plan, 91% success rate on staying consistent with the plan that was laid out. Plans matter. Maybe you're traveling and you're like, how do I take my fitness with me? So we have an amazing banded resistance band and body weight program that we can take anywhere you go. I know for me, when I travel, so this is actually me with the black and the bandana. This was a 12-day road trip that I did with my sister all throughout the Northwest corner. And my bands came everywhere. Michelle's in the middle. She goes to Miami all the time to visit her mom. She brings her bands. We don't need to find excuses or have our vacation be any different than our normal life. We want to be able to stay active and to do all of the things that are part of our routine. We might just have to course correct how and when we do them. So being able to plan, knowing what your vacation looks like, how much are you going to be walking, where are you going to be eating, all of that comes together to maintain. So it's not like that I'm good Monday through Friday, but the weekends I let loose. I'm good Monday through Sunday, but I go on vacation and I, let loose. We can keep it balanced so that you are enjoying your time away, but also staying true to your goals. Sleep. I've said it a couple times. I'm going to touch on it in a little bit more detail. So lack of sleep can increase your risk of being obese. Did anybody know that? Kate, you do because you've heard me say it, but Rory or Ryan, did you guys know that? Michelle, did you know that?
I didn't know it, no.
Yeah. Okay. So studies have linked this, starting like with our children. We know that like when they don't sleep, their focus is off. And we're now learning more and more and more about how lack of sleep affects adults. So on average, how many of you get 5 hours of sleep or more?
Okay.
Yeah.
6 or more?
Yep.
7 or more?
Yeah.
8 or more?
No.
I do, and I'm a different human. Michelle too. So
Yeah.
we definitely want at least 7. 8 or more is absolutely amazing. So think back to a time in your life when you maybe weren't getting enough sleep. Maybe work was really crazy. Maybe you had, little kids or just a ton on your mind. I know for me, when those patterns happen, and they do, I was in a pattern like that last week, I immediately notice what I'm craving to eat changes. So instead of my normal diet that is very well balanced, I found myself going, kind of want like a piece of toast. I don't even eat toast. I'm gluten free. It's not worth it. But that idea of a crunchy carb sounded really good. My body was craving the energy spike that you get from those processed carbohydrates, and especially the carbohydrates that are paired with fat and sugar. Those are what drive us. They wake our bodies up, and our body's like, hey, gave you what you needed, but you actually didn't set us up for long-term success. So there is a reason for this, and there is a correlation. So when we're not sleeping enough, our cortisol levels, those stress hormones, increase. Another hormone, leptin, which makes us feel full, decreases. Ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone, increases. Basically a recipe for disaster. So to summarize, what happens is that we then prioritize storing fat and water in our body due to those increase in the cortisol levels. We are less full and more hungry. So all of these shifts together are impacted by sleep or lack thereof, increase our cravings and our overall food consumption. Food does wonders. That's only one, or sleep. That's only one area that we're talking about. There's so many other spaces we could go with sleep. So sleep experts do recommend children get at least 9 hours of sleep a night, teenagers between 8 and 10, and adults at least 7, but 8 is really ideal. So you guys are all really good sleepers, but in case somebody who's watching after isn't, I'm going to give you 4 tips to help you fall asleep and stay asleep a little better. So you want to keep a sleep schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. It sets our body's rhythms. So both Michelle and I wear Oura rings. Our Oura rings also help us know when the best bedtime and wake time is. It also tracks your sleep to make sure you're in the right zone overnight. There's a whole bunch of amazing things if you want to geek out on sleep. Number 2, put your screen down. We know that the blue light from our electronics decreases our melatonin and then impacts our quality of sleep. Create a cool and relaxing environment. It helps you fall asleep. So temperature does matter. The recommendation is 68 degrees. This is why a lot of times people will say like, oh, I don't sleep as well in the summer. If you don't have air conditioning, it's inherently hot in your room. And lastly, circling back to that balanced diet. So when we eat higher carbs at night, our blood sugar stays elevated. So whether that's ice cream, or some late night treat, it's going to impact the quality of sleep that you get. So be mindful of your sugar and your alcohol intake the later into the day that you go. All right. So you might be thinking like, all right, Joel, what about the barbecues, the parties, the vacations? Well, now's the perfect time to learn how to work within your lifestyle to reach your goals. As I mentioned, we'd be happy to talk to you, understand where you are and where you want to go, create that individualized plan for you and help you live like a fun and balanced life where you are totally in control. So we want you to have fun. We want you to love what you're doing. And if that's of interest to you, you can book your free discovery call. You visit the website snhnutrition.com. We also have some fun games that you can play in terms of summer bingo. So maybe, Roy and Ryan, you guys want to go at this together, have a little healthy competition. But these are some activities, and I can send this to you, and you can play, X amount going, making an X or making a box or straight lines, whatever you want to play. But they're really fun ways to get up, to move, and to do things that will be good for you over the summer. So I'll pause there. You guys have any questions? Want me to go into anything any deeper?
No, quite honestly, it was fine. I was just looking at the electrolytes from that perspective. So no, everything else made sense.
Cool. And I have a sheet that I can send you on electrolytes. I might actually be able to pull it up if you want to give me a quick second. I had it up earlier today. And if not, then I will 100% send it as part of the follow-up.
That'd be great.
Cool. While I'm searching, anybody else have any questions? Michelle, do you want to layer in how you can help with a healthy human through the summer and all throughout the year?
I know. So we're a wellness center that complements everything that Julie offers and speaks of. So our services help to improve sleep patterns by reducing stress levels with float therapy, inflammation in your body from, when you start a new exercise program, you create new inflammation. It may hinder you from getting back out there again. We offer whole body cryotherapy to reduce that inflammation. Balancer Pro for lymphatic drainage, helping to flush the system when you have that overall fatigue, lethargy. There's usually some, I call it junk, just hanging out in your body that doesn't belong there anymore, but is having a hard time filtering itself. Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
So we're about increasing health span and longevity, right?
Okay.
Sweet. So thank you, Michelle. Here is the sheet that I mentioned, and I'll still send it out
Right.
so that you can have it to reference. Can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
Okay. So it's going to tell you why we need them, which a lot of it, we kind of just talked about. This goes into even those deeper levels. Tips on what to look out for. So like you said, you're a little bit dizzy after the workouts. We also want to watch, especially for workouts, cramping is a big thing. For women, especially women aging into perimenopause and menopause, and men as well, but it impacts women more. Our fascial tissue inside our bodies tends to start hardening up. So we need to keep it extra lubricated. It's one of the critical reasons why hydration is super important. So then it kind of breaks down the minerals in each of the components, the role they play, what to look out for, and also foods you can eat to help replenish in those areas. So again, trying to stay in a whole food mentality. What can we do from the earth that's going to help us eat and fuel our bodies appropriately? So vitamins, minerals, it breaks it all down. So I'll share that.
Right.
And then just to give you a view, this is actually my favorite flavor of the
Oh.
G-Fit. I'm not saying this, that's from the actual Gatorade website, but this is a good flavor that my family also enjoys. And then while we're at it, let me just pull up the right coconut water. That one from Costco is another really good choice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So any other questions that Michelle or I could answer for you guys?
Not at the moment, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, if there is nothing else, then I will leave you with a lovely trying to be summer evening. I will send out the replay, the workbook you have, but I'll reattach it, the coconut water, the G-Fit, and the bingo game.
Great.
Awesome.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming. Michelle, thank you for hosting, and I'm glad that you are back up and running.
Yes, me too.
Nice.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
All right,
Appreciate
bye
it.
everybody. Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Have a good